What's up everyone, welcome back to 5W Tech. Here's another Wednesday weekly tech review, and today we're going back to the peripheral category. Because everyone loves peripherals. They're generally affordable and cheaper addition to our already expensive PC setups. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We all like to buy shit we don't need. It's part of the gamer experience. But how does today's tech item round up? Today's guest is the GameSir G4 Pro, a solid, rugged, premium-feeling third-party game controller that has some cool features and unique styling, setting it apart from its controller contenders and brethren. A big shout out to GameSir for providing this controller to us to review. Now, you all know how we break down the reviews on this channel. And if you don't, it's because you're not subscribed. So get subscribed and follow all the content we put on this channel. And leave a comment on as well, because I make an effort to get back to every one of you. Okay, enough yapping. So before we go into the 5 categories and kickstart the review, we need to first understand who this controller is designed for. Yes, it can support multiple platforms, but its specific audience is centered around mobile gaming, hence some of the more obvious features built into this controller. GameSir has really upped their game when it comes to the third-party game controller market. When I reviewed the GameSir T4, I was pleased with the product and kept it over the Xbox controller. Based mostly on price and features, but still, the clear winner for the PC usage was the GameSir T4. You can check out that review here in the corner. With that being said, the T4 had more versatility because it supported more platforms, but it was a very plain Jane controller. Yes, it worked with mobile gaming, Android, PS3, PC, and Switch, making it a hell of a contender. Yet with the new G4 Pro, the support platforms are virtually the same, even after 2 years. Not a big deal because you'd rarely want to use a third-party controller on an Xbox or PlayStation. So to make sure we don't veer off topic too much, we'll stick to the G4 Pro and what it can and is designed to support. Then I'll end off the review with my final word. Number 1, design and layout. The GameSir G4 Pro is your typical wing-shaped Xbox-esque style controller with thumbsticks positioned on your typical controller fashion. Much like an Xbox controller, there are 2 thumbsticks, a D-pad, and a set of A, B, X, Y buttons. However, the center of the controller has additional buttons. In addition to the start and back buttons, there are also 2 more. The bullet button activates the customizable turbo function, while the square button takes a screenshot. And finally, below all that, there's the bright red-green power button. The center buttons are covered by the flip-up bracket that holds your smartphone. If playing on PC or Switch, you can keep this bracket down. It's spring-loaded and perfectly sized for most modern smartphones. It had no problem holding my massive Note 10 in its slim case within the bracket. This is a super cool feature since you can hold your phone while you're playing, without the need to set it on a table or lean it up against something. The little bracket that's included with the controller is for added support when mounting your phone. You don't have to use it, but if you're going to be all gamer wild and risk tossing your phone off, then make sure you use it. The annoying part is that you won't be able to close the lever with the bracket installed. So all of this must translate into a pretty oversized and heavy controller, right? Wrong. The website sure makes the GameSir G4 Pro look big and beefy. However, it's actually pretty small and comparable to the older PlayStation controller. Good for average size hands. However, those of you with massive sausage fingers might want a beefier controller. Either way, the G4 Pro is comfortable to grip. The handles are coated with rubber, so sweaty palms make for a non-issue. And the rubber is fairly thick, making the controller feel more cushy and comfortable for extended hours of gaming. Really? You've been fatigued from gaming on a controller too long? Poor you. The shoulder buttons are aluminum instead of plastic, which makes them less prone to wear and tear and overall damage. I really like the firm, constant pressure they provide versus the plastic ones on my T4 or older PS4 controller. The A, B, X, and Y buttons are not metal, but they have magnets attached to them, similar to the Xbox Elite macro buttons in the rear. This means that you can switch them around, but solely for the purpose of using them on a Nintendo Switch, which has different button configurations. Number 2, connectivity. So, there's a few different ways of connecting the G4 Pro to your device. The first and most basic option is a wired USB connection. Great for never running out of juice, but restricting you to a certain distance when gaming. Plus, this will only work with a PC setup. And if you're too far away, you'll need a pretty long cable. So obviously you're gonna go wireless for multiple reasons. Using the 2.4 GHz wireless dongle, which by the way is super tiny compared to my T4 dongle, it draws less power than Bluetooth and also offers lower latency, minus all the pairing BS you have to deal with. On the other hand, Bluetooth offers you more versatility because you can connect it to a PC, Android device, iOS, or even to Nintendo Switch. I would say if you're using it mainly on a PC, always use a 2.4 GHz dongle. Bluetooth has its own issues, connection drops, random pairing issues. I wasn't able to find out what the version of the Bluetooth is, but even if it's 4.0, it's perfectly fine. Controllers don't need that much bandwidth, and Bluetooth 4.0 and 5.0 have very similar range. Either way, I suggest you dongle it whenever you can. Number 3, battery life. The G4 Pro has an 800 mAh battery that supplies about 30 to 40 hours of total charge. My T4 only has a 600 mAh battery, and even with that, I never had any issues. But it's always great to see an upgrade in the power category. But remember that using Bluetooth will drain more battery life than using the dongle, and it also depends on the games and gameplay style you're involved in. High button mashing games and battle royales like Call of Duty where you're constantly running and mashing buttons will probably cost you more juice. Of course, you can always use it wired and not worry about the battery at all. That means you're stuck to your PC or game system. The G4 Pro charges via USB Type-C. The Type-C cable is included in the kit, but it's only 1 meter long. That can be limiting if you want to play and charge simultaneously, which you can do on this controller. If you're a heavy gamer and find yourself always needing to charge the controller, then save yourself the headache and buy a really long cable from Amazon and be done with it. On the bright side, the battery only takes 1 hour to fully charge. Then you're ready to get back into distance poning. Number 4, features and cool Shiznat. So we already talked about who this controller is for, especially with the 6-axis internal gyroscope, which allows the G4 Pro to support motion controls. It's mostly useful for Switch games where motion controls are commonplace. However, it can be used with smartphone games that use a gyroscope. Not so common with PC games, and to be honest, I haven't really tried it for PC games. I'm not really a gyro kind of guy. The G4 Pro also has a turbo button, which needs to be configured following the instructions supplied with the controller. One thing I dislike about the positioning of the turbo button and screenshot button, yes, you heard me, screenshot button, is that they're positioned under the flippy phone holder. The turbo and screenshot button are not exclusive to mobile gaming only, so to access them during non-mobile gameplay is annoying, but I also understand that there's only a certain amount of real estate available on the controller for extra buttons. Happy to see that they're there at least, somewhere. Oh yes, and we also have a pair of internal vibration motors. Each controller grip section has a motor built in, and they can function separately, producing different levels of vibration depending on the game and scenario. It's an awesome feeling and one that always grabs my attention when gaming. This is not a wow, oh my god feature, but at lower price points like this, it's great to see that the feature is not being overlooked or cheaped out on. So great job on that. Number 5, price and availability. Great news everybody! You can buy this thing on Amazon.ca for $65.99 Canadian or $49.99 USD. It's in stock and ready to order, and you don't have to pay ridiculous markups like we've seen with graphics cards and consoles in the past year. You can also order directly from GameSir's website. I'll include those links down below. And according to their website, they offer a standard 1-year warranty and 30-day money-back guarantee. So make sure you register your controller. In general, I haven't had any issues with my T4, although it's seen minimal use. I'm more of a keyboard and mouse guy, but occasionally like to switch over to the controller, especially when gaming on my basement rig and standing several feet away from my PC and TV. And conclusion. Well, lots of positive things have been said, and not much negative, but that doesn't mean there aren't any negatives. For me, only a few things stood out, such as the D-pad being too squishy for my liking, the positioning of the turbo and screenshot button being hidden away in the phone flippy section, and when connected to a smartphone, the connection was often lost and needed to be repaired. Bluetooth problems, I know. Ugh. That's about all I was able to come up with. Overall, I think it's a nicer and more premium controller than my T4, but if I was only using it for PC gaming, then it would kind of be a waste of money. If you're going to be using it for multi-platforms or you just really like having a funky, cool looking controller, then this is the one. It will definitely stand out amongst your peripherals. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the G4 Pro. Shout out again to GameSir for providing the controller. As a PC gamer, I'd mainly be using this controller for just that. So if it's for PC only that you seek, then check out some of GameSir's other controllers. Although perfectly functional, you may not need all the extra Shiznat this controller offers for PC only gamers. So guys, please make sure to leave a like if you liked the video and consider subscribing for more content. I'll see you guys in the next one.